many times have you heard those two words, be nice? Well, what if being too nice is harming rather than helping your relationship? Controversial, some might say, but we're going to be talking about it today on the Relationship Real Talk Show, where we talk all things relationship, always keeping it real.
What I want to know is, can you actually be too nice?
Mm-hmm.
Is that something possible? I thought being nice means pleasant, being gentle, being kind. Kindness, a derivative of being nice. Can you be too nice?
I remember in uni, I went to university in Nigeria. I remember in uni there was a phrase that was coined, and they say "bobo nice." Have you ever heard that phrase?
Sort of.
Right. So when they say "bobo nice," what they're saying is that guy is a walkover, is someone you can take advantage of. And they're generally really, really nice guys. Now, I say that, tongue in cheek. Of course, people should be kind, people should be nice. But I think, yes, you could get to that point where your niceness becomes, I don't want to say a problem, but it could be a challenge for you. So let me give an example. You're so nice, for instance, that you don't say what you really think in situations because you think, oh, the other person might not receive it properly, or they might be offended. And so you get the opportunity to tell somebody the truth, but because you're so nice, you don't even want to raise it because you want everything to be nice all the time. You want everybody to always get on. You want peace and harmony, not realizing that sometimes the storm comes before real peace.
Can be.
Sometimes there needs to be the storm before real peace. And so if you're always being the nice one, always playing to everybody, always wanting to keep everybody happy, I think it could damage rather than harm, rather than help the relationship, because you could end up not having a real relationship.
Yeah, I guess we're looking at, the idea of being too nice, implying that you're afraid to rock the boat, you're afraid to be upfront, you're afraid to state what you want. Mm-hmm. Everything goes. I guess that could be a problem. It could be a problem that you have to solve in yourself, because even having this conversation might not even be able to help you change. You got to look into yourself and fix that. But can it damage a relationship? Yeah, on the long run, because they're going to walk over you, like you said. They're going to take advantage of you. They're not going to take you serious. You're not even going to be happy in that relationship.
Absolutely. I mean, this was even a professional setting. I was coaching this director of a company, and he was talking about his mom. His mom suffers from depression right now. And he said when he's cast his mind back, all he ever thinks about when he thinks about his mom is always the person that will say yes. His mom never raised her voice at the dad, never had an argument. She was the one everybody always counted on. And he's seen her, in a sense, deteriorate to where she is right now, where in her later years, she's almost like regretting all those years where she, in a sense, did not live.
Right.
Because she always lived in other people's shadows, always trying to please everybody, always trying to keep everybody happy. And he was saying, and this was one of the reasons he came to me for coaching, I don't want to end up like my mom. Yeah. And he was saying he's found himself in that situation where even at work sometimes, when he knows he should be speaking up, he's not speaking up. And it's not because of a lack of confidence. He just feels like, one, he has a reputation at work for being the nice boss, and he doesn't want to, in a sense, change that reputation. He's finally come to the point where he's realizing, this is not serving me, actually. I need to bring balance here. I need to make some changes here.
And I think that's where I'm kind of struggling, the being nice person. I think it's a self-awareness issue. I don't want to call it lack of confidence or this or that, but it's all on you. It's not a personality issue.
It as well.
Yeah, it is, because I could tell you for as long as I want that being too nice is going to not serve you right, but until you have that self-awareness, self-development, it's not going to change anything. But going back to the topic, can it hurt your relationship? It might, and it might not, because you are never aware of what you deserve. You never ask for what you deserve. You just rock. You're just towing the line. You're just going with the flow. Just trying to make everybody happy. And you're sad. You're not really fulfilled. You're not really where you want to be. But because you don't want to challenge the status quo, the other person is happy and you are not.
So you see, I mean, you were just saying you never know what you don't ask for, or you never know what you're missing, you don't know what you deserve. But towards the end, you talked about you might not be fulfilled, you might not be happy. The reality, I think, is most people know. They might not be able to articulate it, they might not dare to dream for it, but most people know when they're settling for less than what they want.
Yes.
Most people know. They know they're not quite fulfilled. They know they're not quite happy. They might just resign themselves and say, well, this is what I have. I might as well just accept it. But most people know. And the reason why we're talking about this is, I guess, for you to start to think about it. And we want to hear from you, audience. What do you think? Do you think it is possible for somebody to be too nice? Do you think maybe you are too nice? Do you think people that tend to take you for granted because of your personality, the way you are? There are some people who are genuinely nice people. You know, the people, they say they don't have a wicked bone in them. There's some people that are just so nice. It's just their general nature. They're generally giving people. They're very generous. But we live in a world of takers. And if you're a natural giver, trust me, people will take and take and take from you. And so, like you were talking about self-awareness, it's important that you come to that self-awareness and understand when people are taking advantage of you, so that you don't get to the point where you get pushed to the wall and then it's almost like you go to the other extreme of not doing this anymore because I've been taken advantage of so many times. I'm not going to let it happen again.
So, my answer to the question is yes. It may damage the relationship, or the other person may be so happy that they are in this relationship because you're just taking it. You're taking whatever you do, whatever is given to you. You're never challenging the status quo.
I mean, I would like to make a distinction between being nice and being kind. For me personally, and obviously you can speak for yourself, but for me personally, I think being nice, it's almost like a disposition. It's almost like irrespective of what's happening, irrespective of the reaction that the situation calls for, irrespective of what the situation is, you're just having this disposition of being nice. But for me, being kind is more thoughtful. So I can be unnice, in quote, but I could be kind by maybe telling you the truth, which I would not normally do if I wanted to be nice. So I think if we look at it, audience, you can think about it. Do you consider yourself to be a nice person? Does that mean you always say yes when inside you really want to say no, for instance? So that's the way I'm looking at it. Anyway.
I mean, a situation that happened. So where I work, it's a hot desk situation. And you have to book a seat. Mm-hmm. So I got to work and this gentleman has spread himself on my seat, right?
On the seat you booked?
On the seat I booked.
Okay.
And I've been a very nice person. I didn't want to have to tell him. I would rather inconvenience myself and go and look for somewhere else to sit. But I went over to him and I said, next time, if you would like to sit on this seat, will you book it, please? And that day went. Another day came, it was retelling that same story to somebody else. And then he added what he was nice about.
Okay.
So I told him the truth, which seems to be what we are kind of...
No, that's being kind. We're not saying being nice is completely different to being kind. That's not the point. Of course, that's not the point. Being nice is not completely different to being kind, you know. But don't forget the situation. The question is it possible that being too nice could be harming your relationship?
Yeah, I think we kind of agree the way.
Yeah. So, for instance, even with that scenario, assuming that you wanted to be nice, and so you decide, I'm not going to say anything, right? Being the nice person I am, I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to rock the boat. And then you go away, you let him sit there. The next day he comes again and then he starts to really wind you up. But then you don't say anything because you want to be nice. I think that's the main thing. Let's not overblow it. I'm sure the audience gets what we're saying. The thing is, if you're always wanting to be nice, to do the nice thing, and we're not
regardless of how it makes you feel.
Regardless of how it makes you feel, regardless of the consequences, regardless of the situation, you were being nice, or rather you were being kind, but you did it in a nice way. is, right? You were being kind. You told the person the truth, but you did it in a nice way.
Yeah.
But that's different to somebody who always wants to be nice, who says no when they really mean yes, who says yes when they really want to say no, but they feel like, oh, I don't really want to upset the other person, so I'll just say yes. And so you tend to avoid conflict. Don't forget the point is, could it be harming your relationship?
Yeah, I think we
right? So so if you don't allow yourself to have tough conversations, for instance, because you want to be nice, that will harm your relationship. If you don't tell people the truth that they need to hear just because you don't want to be unnice, that could harm the relationship.
I mean, I could easily argue that not telling people the truth when they need to hear it is actually not nice.
Well, it's nice, but it's not kind. It's nice. Audience, do you understand my point here? Do you get what I'm trying to distinguish between being kind and being nice? Telling someone the truth, or how did you put it?
Telling someone the truth.
Not telling someone the truth, you said it's not being nice. No, not telling someone the truth so that you don't upset them is being nice, but it's not being kind.
Okay, maybe you're right. Maybe
I am right.
Maybe it's just me overthinking.
Yeah, but tell us what you think, audience. Are you one of those people that you're described as always nice? Do you ever find yourself in a situation where you feel like, maybe I'm not really being authentic here because I want to maintain that reputation of being nice, right? Do you feel like maybe you drop your boundaries or you don't maintain your boundaries just because you want to be nice? Those are the kind of things we're trying to get you to think about. And I know that sometimes, often it depends on personality. And I think that's why you're struggling with it, because you're a genuinely nice person. You're a genuinely nice person. And so if you're a genuinely nice person, you will struggle with this idea of, it's actually possible to be too nice. But when you sit and think about it, you will realize, actually, it is possible to be too nice.
Yeah, I guess, you've got to consider yourself. You've got to consider your happiness. You've got to consider what you want in life, and you've got to be bold. You've got to be nice about it, but you've got to be bold. So I'm not necessarily saying you be selfish, but you cannot disregard self, because self is important. So what I want, what you want is important. So you've got to be able to communicate.
Absolutely. And I also think for the other person as well. People need to know the truth. So, and if you're not, and this is where I think courage comes in. I actually think it takes courage to be kind. Yeah, sometimes it takes courage to be kind enough to tell someone the truth. It takes courage. So, but we would love to hear from you. What do you think? We knew this was going to be controversial, but we want to hear from you. Do you think it's possible to be so nice that niceness could actually be harming your relationship? Drop your comments. We would love to hear from you. And if you haven't yet subscribed, please subscribe. We want to hit 4,000. Help us do that. Question for Julius and Mary. So if you missed the last episode, we introduced this segment in the show called Ask Julius and Mary Anything. So this is your opportunity to throw any question at us to find out more about us. So the question we've got today is, what are your 3 top mantras or principles that you live by? If you had to pick 3, what would it be? Do you want to go first?
For our relationship?
It does not necessarily relationship, just your life posture.
Right. Just be kind. Be kind, be bold, and be simple.
Right. Okay. Well, definitely, I think those 3 go with you, I would say. Yeah. For me, if I had to pick 3, I would say 1 is everybody deserves respect and honor, irrespective of who you are. Everybody deserves that. 2, show.
I thought 3 things, right?
3 mantras.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so
I was expecting like words, like bullet point words.
Oh, it doesn't have to be words. It could be sentences. So I'm going with sentences. Okay. So my first one is, everybody deserves respect and to be valued because we're all made in God's image. That's what I really believe in. So that's how I live my life. 2, show grace. So you could be telling the truth, even going back to this same kindness or niceness. I could tell you the truth, but I want to say it with grace. I don't have to be rude about it.
I would be nice about it.
I could be nice about it. I don't need to be rude to tell the truth. So that's one mantra.
You don't have to hold back the truth to be kind.
Yes, just think about the best way to say it. Think
and that's a skill.
Yeah, it's a skill. So offer people grace. And the 3rd mantra, I'm in control of me, not you.
It's powerful.
Yeah, I'm in control of me, not you. So I always live my life from that posture. I don't allow people to determine how I feel, what I do. I'm in control of me, not you.
Yeah, I think that probably is leading me to think that that's probably something we should talk about. How do you get to that level? Because most people are reactive. They react to things. So
They don't respond intentionally.
Yeah, exactly. So they are reactive, not intentional.
That's fine.
Yeah. So if somebody is rude to me and I just allow my energy to go that way. Yeah, I can't help them being the way they are.
But you can help
me.
Yeah, I used to be a very controlling person, and I realized you cannot control people. So I would rather control me. Yeah. But you share with us yours. What are your 3 top mantras that you live by? Put it in the comments. We would love to hear from you. But until next time, this has been
Julius
and Mary, your Relationship Real Talk hosts. We talk all things relationship, always keeping it real.